let's get this going. Okay, well, here we are to talk about converting your database to leads for the team. And we've got Hannah, who's like crushing it, like just like blowing it out of the water. So Hannah, how many has your team closed from your personal sphere this year?
We have closed 11 from my personal sphere and a few in the pipeline to come. So getting there.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to just zip it and let you take it away from here and tell us how you are doing these amazing things.
Okay. Yeah. So years ago, and that's where I kind of joined the team and joined real estate. I came from a whole different career before real estate in 2016, training horses. So not a desk job whatsoever. And that was something really attractive to the job, that it was a salary, but then bonus commission opportunities. And the sky's the limit in real estate. You know, I've heard that from family. My mom was a buyer's agent on the team for years. And that was what really drew me to the job, that you can work as hard as you want or as basic as you want to just get your salary. So anyways, that's kind of where it started. You know, immediately I was like, I want commissions, I want bonuses, I want this. And it did take a little bit to build. But my rainmaker, she just said, you got to start somewhere. You know, I need the 200 names from your sphere to get started, full contacts. And as I learn more, you know, we all have from the MREA, full contacts, add them to the 36 touch. And, you know, a few years later, I started with 250 at the end of that first year. I didn't close a deal, honestly, until like my third year in real estate. And then now it's just been about 10 transactions, kind of 8 to 10 every year in the last like 3 years. Now it's pretty simple. I don't have to lead generate as much, just doing some other passive things that our team does, that the agents do. And then that kind of fits my personality a little bit more as well. So something kind of not out of the box. To be honest, I don't pick up the phone and call them very much. It'll be here and there with the client event. If it's somebody that's been to a client event for years, then I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, just, you know, probably about 15 calls to those certain people. You know, I know y'all have attended this fun event every year, hoping to see you again this year. But that's where, I mean, starting a database, and I actually looked a few minutes ago and my sphere is up to 532. And those are full contacts, addresses, email addresses, you know, phone numbers, and they're all on neighborhood smart plans. They all get our e-newsletters every other week, get invitations to client events, you know, so they're getting the full 36 touch that our team is doing anyways. So I just included them on the MEC group. And another thing kind of on social media, we go over in our morning huddles, you know, at the end of every day, hey, don't forget to be proactive on social media. We do mixed media with like personal, and then also with business. And so that kind of helps. It's not all real estate or it's not all personal. So like on Mondays, we feel like it's more of like a motivational Monday or a pick me up, something fun, a local pop by, going to get coffee, like do something, working out and do the sunrise, you know, take a picture. Tuesdays, we do like a real estate video. So if I'm on my way home or changing out a rider, do like a fun boomerang of, you know, a for sale rider to sold, or, you know, the new house that we just listed. Wednesdays we do, and I've got a little sticky note right next to me actually. And it's literally just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And Wednesdays, a hobby, interests, our local spots. You know, what local spot are you supporting for lunch? Or, oh my gosh, I saw this, you know, new coffee shop, you know, whatever. Real estate, a real estate find for on Thursday, or a screenshot. We did this for all during COVID and took a screenshot like I would here of all of our faces on Zoom. And it was super fun. They got to see us like every single week. just our team. And like some days we did a theme, or we'd wear sunglasses or be outside. And then Friday's a personal hobby, something funny, something happy going into the weekend. So, I mean, that's kind of just the database. I mean,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Because you just told us like so much information. So
Yeah.
you've got roughly 500 something in your personal database now, like your personal sphere.
Yeah.
The first thing that jumps in my head, and I did hear you say your rainmaker like made you have 200 before you could start your job. Like you
Yep.
had to have 200. So I mean, that still means you've added 300 plus to your
Mhm.
personal sphere. And sorry, I'll have a cold. And I know that you're like a self-proclaimed, introvert. So it's not like you are, the kind of buyer's agent personality going out and like grabbing people at the grocery store or something. So how did
Yeah.
you add 300 plus people to your personal database with full contact information?
So, I mean, friends from high school. I grew up in the town I live in here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Grew up here. I went to a small school 30 miles north. And so networking, I mean, I'm involved in a few different charity events, serve local and the local community, the homeless every week. And so just kind of through that, we all have a phone book, we all have our phone. And then I go through here and I'm like, I won't pick up the phone and call all these people, but who would I right now pick up the phone and call? And so those are the people that I have in command and in smart plans and getting touched. Because I'm a true introvert. I do social events. I can turn on an extroverted or, do the things at night if I have to and whatever. But that's where if there's something else putting the pressure on, like a charity event or a board meeting, or I've just got into tennis and my tennis girls, we've been texting all day. They're all in command and they're on like smart plans. And I mean, we can look up on county records the addresses. So half the time, like, I just got your client event invite, or we've got Pi Day coming up, for Thanksgiving. And so just little things like that. So just kind of a nonchalant, slowly start.
You are saying it so nonchalantly. Does anybody else have questions? Like 300 plus people with full contact information. Like, what kind of charity event is this? Like, did you just walk up to every table and say, like, fill out my form? It's like, literally, tell us what you did.
Okay, so for high school, I was part of our 10-year high school reunion a few years ago, and they're like, I need everybody's email addresses. Well, okay, I took advantage of that. I had majority of everybody's phone number from high school. And I just added everybody from that spreadsheet into command and took their email addresses. So anytime there's an opportunity for taking some bit of information, I have a stack of like sticky notes or business cards or, wedding invitation that the return address is. Just I tear it off and I stick it on my desk. And then like once or twice a month, I'll upload all those, and update command to the most newest. So anyways, just kind of keeping an eye and making a point to update these things on a regular basis is key. So
like you just focus on it and it expands.
Yeah. And learn over the years. I mean, at first, whenever they're hi, I'm on a call.
I'm looking for it.
She ended up here. Sorry, guys. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Well, you're talking about just adding it, what you focus on expands and practicing over the year. What I love is you're nailing what agents fail to do, right? Which is wall 2 of the lead generation, which is feed the database, right? Or at least make an effort to where you're constantly feeding it. And hopefully everyone wrote that down, because being intentional about that and hearing how, even if we approach the conversation nonchalant without a script, right? Like just talking, if you hear that, Hannah is very intentional about collecting the info, putting it in the database. Right? So it doesn't matter if you're golfing, you're at the client event, you're at a charity that was brought up. It's who have you spoken to today and what was the opportunity overall?
Yeah. And like my cousin, she got married a few years ago. Well, she's now pregnant, and our whole family, she texted and said, "Hey, will you put your, your new updated physical address in this website and send it to me?" And I texted her, I was like, "Will you send me that spreadsheet when you're done?" So just being kind of intentional and just like taking the opportunity to jump on that and, come from value, come from contribution, like what it's going to do to benefit them by me sending them these things. It's not that I'm asking for business whatsoever. It's coming, and providing a service, coupons, client events, and things to my sphere. And that's where there's multiple people in here, or I had one of our ISAs call for our event that we just had in July. And right before she called, I was like, wait, I got to take out some people, that might not have done business with us, or is my old coworkers or boss that I need to personally make those phone calls instead of somebody else on my behalf. So
that was my question. So based off of everyone that's in there, outside of the 36 touch, what percentage is like business related communication? Or rephrase that and answer it however you like, right? Is it like one out of 4 calls is business, or?
Maybe 15% of it is actually business. Not most of it is the care calls. I'm so sorry. Care calls through COVID. It's not about asking, are you interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? It's a lot of them. Sometimes I will be that straightforward, and to some certain people, especially some of my returning clients or some people that give me referrals and hey, I'm sending you my neighbor, or my grandparents need to sell. I'll be pretty straight up front with them, but not many other people, because that's not my personality either.
So I'm hearing when you have that deeper relationship, then you're a little bit more direct in your asking.
Yeah. I'd rather come from contribution, and give them value, give them coupons and make it fun, instead of, oh my gosh, Hannah's calling again because she's going to ask for business, so.
Which, by the way, for those of you writing that down, is straight from the MREA, right? Staying top of mind, building the relationships.
Yeah. And yes, I will share the Monday through Friday daily social media post schedule. Put that in here towards the end.
I just love everything you're doing. And so we've got 500-ish people. I'm up, so I go back to the math, right? And we're converted. So we've got 11 closed, and how many are in your pipeline to close this year?
Not many people can find a house right now. I've got 17 that are kind of sitting out there, that are in my pipeline, that are A's and B's.
Okay, how many do you think will close this year, realistically?
Probably 5 more, realistically.
Okay, so your best year ever. So 16, and we've got how many Mets did you say?
532.
Y'all, while Megan's doing that math, that's with only talking business, only talking shop, maybe 15% of the time.
And you said you don't call most of them, like they're just on the 36 touch. So you're getting a 3% conversion rate out of your Met database without
picking the phone up really at all. Or text.
We all know if she picked up the phone, she could get 7% more. Like we could get 50 deals out of this Met database. I'm just going to throw that out there. But 500 is a lot of people, so that could be a full-time job. The same. I say though. So 3% Met database with just a 36 touch. We know that a strong 36 touch with 0 calls can get us as much as 4%. At least that's the research that I've pulled out of my clients. So a strong 36 touch can get us max out 4% without any voice-to-voice calls. So imagine that her team's put together the 36 touch. There's no ISA on her calls now, but maybe there could be one day. and work that out in your head too. But she's just applying the 36 touch to get a 3% return from her Met database. She grows it intentionally, puts it on the drip, and then a handful, like she said, her grandma, she calls and talks to. I mean, I think we can all agree it would be good if we called and talked to our grandmas anyway. So hopefully we're talking to those people already. And otherwise, she just lets the campaign do the rest of the heavy lifting, it sounds like.
Mind you, if you were going to call and you utilize a tool like DDT or DTD2 that organized your database, if you just broke down the 532 by 13 weeks, which is the cycle a quarter, you're only looking at 41 calls a week.
Yeah.
Divided
and that's
by
one thing, the DTD2, being more intentional about that, and even on the Facebook side of it as well. We had our regional tech trainer come to our market center before COVID, and he said, you can do tags inside of your Facebook and tag, DTD2 on your Facebook people. I've got 2,800 friends, I think, maybe on Facebook. And so I do wish every single person every morning, happy birthday, even if I don't even know them, or it's an ex of, somebody, it's an ex. I wish them happy birthday, and just make it a point to do the 5, 5, and 5, like 5 posts, comment on 5 people, post pictures, comments, and then I guess 5 birthday or something else. Write on, because you don't write on people's walls anymore. So.
You're incredible, Hannah. Who else has questions for her? Like, this is an amazing thing she's doing. 16 that she's scheduled to close this year.
And a goal to get this kind of up and going and being more intentional about in the last few years. I heard on stage that one admin, was making her salary, as a set salary plus bonuses and commissions. And she said her goal every year is to make more in bonus or commissions off referral fees coming in than she does on her salary throughout the year. So that was just okay, I can do this. If she's doing it and she was in a small town somewhere, I'm in a small town somewhere and I can do it too. And so that just was really cool. And what I've been able to do with that extra money, investing, what I've brought to the team, because I do like to track that I've closed 2.5 million in volume, over 75,000 in GCI. And, I've got my referral fees and then the net profit that I brought to the team, so in talking to Rainmaker or whatever, I can tell you, this is what I've brought net profit to our team, this year in just my sphere business. So I do like to track that. It's kind of fun.
So I have a question that might be more of a devil's advocate play. But right now my current position is DOO, but I do intend to get my license. And at some point in the future, maybe 5-year plan, potentially become an agent on the team instead of DOO. From my understanding that once their contact is in the database, the team or the Rainmaker owns that lead or that client. So I'm hesitant unless there is some kind of contract or something that says these, while I am not an agent, these contacts are yours, but at the 5-year mark, those are released back to me. Or what are your thoughts around that if your intention is to eventually be an agent?
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I mean, I think we probably all maybe thought about that at some point down the road, myself as well. On my contract with the team and with all of our agents and admin, if it's one of your sphere, no matter what, they go with you. Now, sometimes when a sphere of an agent that, just left the team, say last year, and they're a past client, they're going to continue getting our past client things because they closed a transaction through the team, and we want to do that. If it's a very, very close friend or family to that agent, then we will remove them and completely, per our team and how we think it should be done, or how we've had the most success for both the agent and admin. we've deleted, the whole contact out of Command or whichever CRM you use, and they get to keep, you get to keep your sphere. But think of it this way: if that's maybe a long term, get it built up and have you a nice database, that's used to seeing your marketing. Because this took 2 years to be able to get my first transaction, and it was a family member. So have them get used to start branding and marketing your name. That yes, I'm not the sales agent on the floor or helping you, but I'm still very involved in your transaction, and I can still, receive a commission or contribute to your transaction, even though I'm not the agent on the contract.
Right now, my contract for DOO does include obviously commission for referrals, but our team, the ownership of the database is the Rainmaker. So I would lose those contacts moving forward. There wouldn't be that split in ownership per se. So I guess maybe my question is more to Zach and Megan. What is the norm for this type of thing?
Well, one, if you stay with the team, I think it's only if you leave the team it becomes a major issue, right? But two, practical purposes and what I coach to and best practices I've seen, I would always coach to and have done that if your personal sphere, when you bring it, have it agreed upon on a spreadsheet and sign it, the Rainmaker and the agent or the DOO, the admin, and say, these are the spheres I'm bringing. So when I leave, this is what I leave with. And the reason for that, practically why I coach to that and look for it as a best practice, is because if something would happen with the database, because we switch databases, we change, our sphere tags get lost, we have an agreed upon amount that was brought. Two, it's very easy sometimes for some agents to continue to add SOI tags, when the reality of it is, if they're on the team, using the team marketing, business card, all of that, it's not really theirs, right? It's really is the team's at that point. So that's where I land, is I usually recommend when an agent comes on or at any point, let's download your sphere, let's both sign off on it. If you want to add people to it, come have a conversation, we'll reprint it, sign it, so we have very clear expectations of who goes where. That's my take, but I'd love to hear Megan's too, because I always learn a bunch from her.
Mine is that it's always negotiable. So I don't think I have a team that's, teams that have a super standard way. That's just such a negotiable thing. So some people say we never own your sphere. Some people say we do own it. Some people say the second transaction's ours, the first one's yours. It's so negotiable. So if there's something you've got in mind, just ask for what you want. The worst they could say is no, but, or right, like not that, but I'll give you this other thing. And if that's like not tomorrow, go make your money today is what I'd add on that. Like if you're not thinking of leaving real soon, don't let that stop you from, don't step over dimes to get pennies. You know what I mean? Like get your money now.
Yeah.
Other questions for Hannah, who's like gonna close 16 personal sphere? Do you guys have agents on your team that don't even close 16 sphere clients a year? Somebody's calling Hannah like it's going out of style.
I have another question for Hannah.
Yep.
So say you're working with the high school reunion, right? Kind of are taking those contacts. And then they get a random email from your team. Are they like, how did you get my email? I mean, do you preface by saying, I'm going to be adding you to a database, or what does that look like when you're kind of collecting them when maybe they didn't know that they were being collected for this purpose?
Yeah, I mean, I did have, a few people unsubscribe, and you can't take that personally because I do the exact same thing on a lot of things. I I did send like a welcome email of just, I think I threw it in MailChimp or probably built, I don't know, maybe built it in Command and just said, hey, the Elson group, I put a picture of me and our logo and the team. And I did just a really quick, small little email that just said, I put you on our mailing list, and then these are the values you're going to get out of it. Let me know what I can do in real estate here locally or, across the nation, because a lot of people don't live, in Arkansas anymore. They moved away. So, I've got local experts in all these different cities that I can help, find you a local expert in real estate of any sort. So. But I think the main thing is just being consistent with it, going in and spending, I've got it on my time block for just like 15 minutes a week to look at my, take a look at my sphere. You do the updates needed, post on Facebook, reach out, to somebody, and just a little bit of time blocked each week. And that for me helps get that done, and consistency to keep it rolling.
What percent of your referrals would you say like initiate on Facebook from all of that, from the Facebook kind of rhythm you gave us?
It's planting seeds, so I'll have just a random call that if I know somebody's about to get engaged, I'll kind of give them a little bit more attention, to be honest, or, having a baby or their family's about to grow of some sort and need a bigger house. And so a lot of it does stem from Facebook and social media, just from touching and its branding. Oh, you're in real estate, and then on weekends, if I do go to dinner or out or do something, multiple people come up to me and ask me, hey, how's the market? Or how's real estate? And I just say, well, why do you ask? I'm just trying to figure out what question they want answered in real estate. So, a lot of it's just the branding around, okay, Hannah, she does real estate. That helps. And then I'll get a call from my cousin I did last week, and he just said, hey, come list these 3 lots. We're not going to build on them. And I'm tired of it. I'm like, okay, here's paperwork. We'll get it done. So. And I've kind of helped the rest of our agents do the same thing, build their own social media calendar, and little thing that, I gave y'all in the comments to help them be consistent at it as well. Because one of our agents, the majority of all of her business is just from Facebook. Her networking, she makes a lot of personal posts and professional posts, and she's an agent. And that's, 95% of her business is all of her sphere, and it all stems from Facebook. So we're all learning something from her as well.
I love that you brought that up, because I think that is a myth that we run into a lot, where there's a story around you can't get business through Facebook and you can't get business through some of these other sources. Mm-hmm. But it's 100% true that if you're consistent, they absolutely are a database, and you absolutely can close if you're consistent. Yeah. No different than our touch plans, right? Because we'll run across that too, as we'll be like, well, we don't really get much, and we're not consistent in a big portion of our touch plan. So I love that.
Yeah. And usually, like, we have a runner that he fills in, a few days a week. And sometimes if I'm on my way home and changing out a rider, or a few weeks ago, I had to go meet a house to get measured for, square footage size. And so I was sitting there holding the tape. And so I pulled up my phone and did a Facebook and Instagram story of what we're doing, why we're doing it, this house, will eventually come on the market. So it wasn't technically coming soon because I didn't show anything but the color of the brick. And just gave them like a tidbit of value. And I had so many people are like, oh, that is so cool. That's how they measure a house, or that's how you get square footage. So like just kind of the things that we do daily or hear and see, like it is pretty cool and like fascinating to a lot of other people that are not in our profession. So show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's just, again, it's kind of branding, and it's, yeah, people enjoy it.
What else are you guys dying to ask Hannah, who's beating many agents and some teams on database turnover rate all by herself? Who has a limiting belief here that this is possible for them to close 16 personal sphere referrals a year? Anyone just feel like I just couldn't do that here, or I couldn't do it, my town wouldn't do it, whatever it is?
I mean, I definitely, had some at the beginning, and then it just, this is the plan that just kind of has worked out. And once you get your first few referral checks, that makes it even more fun. So.
Yeah, I think my hesitation is like, I don't actually live in the city that my company is in. And so a lot of the people that I actually interact with regularly are not there. Like I have other people that I know there, but I don't really talk to them. And I also don't really use social media personally. So, because I was a teacher. And so I've always felt like, well, that's like I have to be careful about all that, small children, etc. So yeah, so I never really gotten into social media, and then also don't live and not talking to people about, like, except for people here who I can give referrals to. And so I do talk to people about that in person. But I don't know, I think that's my limiting belief is like, well, I'm not even there.
Do you know who you would give, like if you found a referral in your town, who would you give it to?
Yeah, I do. So, and I have a couple of people here that I've been chatting with about that.
Yeah, I would just have you like a team of, like 3 or 4 really good agents in your local city.
Yeah.
And that's where, being in Arkansas, I've got that in St. Louis, Kansas City, Dallas, Tulsa, like surrounding bigger cities.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go visit, even just for like a concert or something social, I'll make an effort to pop by their office, and kind of do co-mingling branding a little bit with them, and to show like a presence that Keller Williams is not only here in Little Rock, Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
that it's everywhere else, and you can help people. But yeah, I'd build a little referral network
Mm-hmm.
in your area.
Even when you think you can't help, we've had a bunch of people move out of our area. Here you go. We're awful close to New York City, and we've had a ton of people like just move out of the area. Like we're going to Vermont, we're going to, Niagara Falls. If you have a buyer and seller and can get in between there, it's like, oh, let me find you a great agent. You just made 20% for nothing. I mean, and we do most of that with our, like follow-up calls, care calls. We invite people to events like once a quarter. So it's like, oh, well, we're thinking about going to Buffalo. Well, let me find you an agent. And then.
Awesome. Thanks, Raph. Lots of referral opportunities with our Keller Williams network for sure. Hannah, what were some of your limiting beliefs around this?
Probably the biggest one, and it sometimes still gets in the way, that I'm not the agent. You know, I'm an admin and I'm not the one that's out showing the property. And so to get over that, I started to go with some of the agents, depending on where it is or who it is. I'll go on a few showings and pop in to show that I am involved, or on the listing appointment, I'll go with the listing appointment, you know, with either agent. And I kind of explain it like a car dealership. You know, we're the back end person when you go sign the paperwork in the finance department. You know, probably majority of all of us have bought a car here. And so, and majority of people that are buying houses have bought cars. So like, you know, the sales agents are the agents that are out on the floor. They help you pick out, you know, your home or sell it. And then we're the back end people that help you. We do all the paperwork, finance, title, you know, so that kind of helps connect the dots of, oh, this is what Hannah does and how she's involved in the real estate transaction. Because there's not many teams at all where we are. I mean, probably like 4 teams in our whole area. And like 2 of them are in our market center, and there's, you know, 2 others at another company. So it is newer. They're used to one agent doing all of the work. And so kind of explaining how our team does it, split, divide, and conquer, it makes complete sense, and, you know, give them the value that we provide a better customer experience doing it this way. And not too far into it, they'll figure it out. So that's for sure still is a limiting belief.
Okay, my question would be, we have a situation where our agents have been referred deals from our director of sales, and she takes a very, very, very small referral fee, like 10% or sometimes less. And so when I've had referrals, I gave one to a buyer's agent, and I did it at the same rate, but, you know, afterwards, like, oh, that's really, you know, I mean, I know they have to split, but 10%, you know, is just not much. And so I've struggled with trying to figure out how to navigate a conversation where I negotiate a different referral fee with our buyer's agents than the director of sales has.
Okay, might have trouble understanding. So is it the 25? We explain that again.
So instead of like a 25% referral fee, the standard,
Yeah.
if she knows the buyer's agent have a split, she only takes like 10% instead of 25. And so, but her position is in sales, and her, you know, metrics are based off of their production. And so, but I don't necessarily want to give them at just 10%. You know, I mean, that's a much smaller percentage. And so I'm trying to navigate having that conversation of, here, I want to hand you a lead, but I don't want to give it to you at the same rate that the DOS does, has been a little, like I said, I did one and I just did it at the same rate. And then I was like, oh man, I wish I'd, you know, not.
Yeah. I mean, ours is standard for the team, 25% referral fee. It's on all of our contracts, but then it's the exact same if it's an agent referral from across state lines. You know, you're going to be paying that agent referral 25% as well. It's the same thing, but it's an even warmer lead due to a, you know, a sphere or somebody closer that they even know. There's a better connection there. There is multiple times whenever I've cut, or a small transaction, we sold one of my uncle's best friend's investor home that was $55,000. You know, I didn't take a commission or referral fee off that. You know,
Right.
The agent needed all the money she got on it. She deserved it. So I didn't even take one. So, and then some that I'll do a 10% it just kind of depends. But I would just have that expectations conversation up front. So you're not, once you get paid, nobody's questioning anything.
Yeah.
Abby,
So-
when you get a referral from like not on the team, so someone from out of state sends you a referral, how does the team pay that referral? Who pays for it?
Usually it's taken out of the top and then it's split between, like if it's a 50-50, we take the 25% off and then split it between Alice and the agent. Just to, keep that fair. And I guess that's something I could talk to her about, but I just kind of was like, well, I'll just do it how the DOS did it. And then I found out how to, and I was like, ooh, that's not such a pretty split. So anyways, that was just a thought later on that perhaps, and like I said, I've only given one buyer lead to an agent here. I've had a couple out of state that I was able to do 25%, but our team buyer agents, I just, like I said, I mean, it's all of it's a bonus and that's great, but 10% just doesn't quite feel as exciting as 25%.
Yeah, I would just say maybe follow the team, like how a referral would come in. I'm not sure why your DOS is doing the way she does it, but maybe she's got a reason there. I don't know, but anyway, maybe it's see if the team's open to following kind of your outside referral structure. Team pays half, agent pays half.
But
Yeah,
taking
I
off the top.
would clarify that because I have a few DOSs and their structure is a little bit different, but it's because it's part of their coaching structure and contract, right? So like I'm coaching this amount of team and I get a certain percentage based on their sales. So just really clarify what is that process and what is the referral.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks.
We got about 15 minutes left. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to ask Hannah while she's here and available to us? Getting that amazing personal turnover from her sphere.
Who else is getting a good return on their sphere, and what are your tactics? Anything?
I think, like you said, I just, whenever people ask what I do, I always try to still say that I'm a realtor. Like I don't lead with I'm a DOO or I'm, an ops. Like I start with I'm a realtor. And then that way in their head, it sort of cements that, I sell houses, even though that isn't what I technically do every single day. Just to kind of, that's the way in that top of mind thing where they think realtor when they think of my name.
I'm brand new in admin, so I'm still like just very new this year as a whole, which is kind of why I tuned in. And it's very interesting to hear a bunch of different ways to just like grow your sphere. And you never think about it when you have like a birthday party or a bridal shower or something that you're talking to all these people and getting all this information and meeting people, and then you never think like, oh, I should like write that down somewhere and keep that because it might be useful. But also it's just interesting because I'm so new that I was like, so you were talking about being an admin and how you were still, wanting to have people know that you were in real estate. Like, so that came to mind when they saw you, like maybe on Facebook or on social media. So it's just interesting different ways to do that because I just never really crossed my mind. I mean, I've been in here long. I've only been here a month, but it's something I don't think I would have thought of. I would have just been like, oh, I'm an admin. So if people would have asked, I would have been like, well, I'm an admin. I'm not like a realtor. So, but like there are benefits to being an admin and being in this industry. So it's good to think ahead about them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where it just gets started. It's start small with a small group, even if 10 people, and start building that and kind of have, like I said, I've got kind of like a VIP list. It needs to be written down, but it's in my head of who all comes and I call them, and just start there and, just build on it and
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking about this the other day. So whenever we have we just had a new agent join our team actually today. And whenever we do that, we make them bring a list of at least 200 people of their personal sphere to bring into our database. And I was just realizing that like none of us on the ops team have done that ourselves. Like, oh, that's really interesting. Huh. We should probably all do that as well and be reaching out to all of those people for our own spheres and adding them to all of the team promotions and stuff like that. I don't know, somehow that was an oversight.
Well, then it's fun having your people at client events or that they get to invite. It's just something else whenever you see them at Christmas, when, holidays or a wedding or a baby shower or something, they always bring it up before I always bring it up. So, oh my gosh, I got this promotion thing. Oh, thanks so much for this garden coupon. So just little things. Yeah, makes it easy.
Zach, what's our topic next week? Oh, keeper of the calendar.
Next, investment properties, building wealth, personal and business. Ellen, is it Jennison?
Yes, Ellen is going to be here. She is the head of the branch of a real estate company that does short-term rentals. So she runs the short-term rental division. So she's going to be talking to us about just the personal, like if you have questions about personal short-term rentals investing. This comes from like one of our net worth club meetings where she came and she was like, oh, I'd love to talk to your group. So or if you have questions about starting that company or you've got a short-term rental company as part of your real estate business, she could also be here to talk about that. So pumped to have her because that's going to be a fun topic. So whether it's personal interest or professional interest, she's going to be here to talk about short-term rentals. Okay, King. Well, if you have no other questions for Hannah, we'll give you 9 minutes of your day back to go have an extra tea break, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.